Welcome students. This session is for BS second year English Literature paper first. And in this session we'll continue with the poem by Robert Browning, Rabbi ben Ezra. Let's have a recap of the previous sessions before we continue with the poem. Browning's Rabbi ben Ezra sees life trials and tribulations as a road to spiritual development and maturity of soul. So here in this poem, Rabbi ben Ezra, who is a scholar, he says that all the problems, all the sadness that life gives, it always teaches us lesson and person works towards spiritual development and maturity. Rather than holding on today and prolonging our youth with all its follies, we should welcome the wisdom and understanding of God's plan, which we gain as we progress through life's troubles to old age and ultimately to death. So instead of just prolonging one's youth and rather judging one's life from youth, one should always welcome wisdom and understanding of God's plan. And this wisdom comes only when we gain progress through life, when we grow in life, and we reach old age by crossing all the troubles of life, and finally one receives death. Old age is the best period of life, for which youth, the first period of life, has been made. So both are interconnected, rather in a continuum. Youth age is made to proceed to old age. Man's life is a whole youth and old age together. It is not youth alone with its passion and energy, nor old age with its spirituality, but the blend of the two together. So both of these two ages, youth age and old age, they blend together to make life as whole. Man is distant from beast. So in the previous stanzas, he says that man is quite different from animals. He has intelligence which separates him from the animals, but if he wastes his life by simply running after pleasure, what is there to boast about? So human beings are basically different from animals. And if they waste their life just for the physical pleasures of life, then there is no meaning of it, because what separates human beings from animals is only care for food. Once they've eaten as much as they can, they have no other care in the world. Man is not like that. So this he says in the stanzas that animals, they only care about food, and once their stomach is full, they hardly care about anything else in their life. And man should not be just like animals. Man are framed for higher purposes in life, and which they should strive for. Now let's continue with the text. For thence a paradox which comforts while it mocks. Shall life succeed in that it seems to fail? What I aspired to be and was not comforts me. A brute I might have been, but would not sink either scale. He says that there is an opposite, there is a paradox in an approach. He says that even if human beings face a lot of problems and sufferings, there is a comfort lying inside it. Because life may be full of a lot of failures. Shall life succeed in what it seems to fail? That means you may face a lot of failures in your life. What I aspired to be and was not comforts me. But even these failures, even these sufferings, what you want to be, what you desire to be, and what you don't get in life, all these things also give some sort of a consolation in your heart. It comforts me. A brute I might have been, but would not sink either scale. He says, I would have been an animal. He says human beings are animal if they don't have higher purpose in their life. There's a scale of being a human, of being a human being. There's a mark of human life, and for those pleasures, for achieving those things, one should not use those means that makes you sink that human scale. That means one should not behave in that animal way, should not only run for those physical pleasures. Rather, there's a purpose of human life, and this purpose should not be lost no matter how much of suffering, how much of problem one faces in life. What is he but a brute whose flesh has soul to suit, whose spirit works lest arms and legs want play? To man propose this test, thy body at its best, how far that can project thy soul its lone way. He says that the life of an animal is like a soul that suits the body. That means any soul that does not have any values attached to it, that life is an animal life. Whose spirit works less arms and legs won't play. He says that life is an animal life which is not at all spiritually uplifted. To man propose this test, he says, to know if a human being is living a life of a human being, or rather you can say that who is on the scale of human life. This is the test of that, thy body at its best, how far that can project thy soul on its lone way. So only that body, that human life can be considered as best, as the best form of being a human being is only when the body helps the soul on its spiritual journey. That means both match each other, both support each other. Only that life can be considered as best life. Yet gifts should prove their use. I own the past profuse, of power each side, perfection every turn. Eyes, ears took their dole, brain treasured up the whole. Should not the heart beat once, how good to live and learn? He says, the physical gifts that are given to God, they are not useless. Rather, we should prove their use. I own the past profuse. He says, youth age is the time of power of senses. And one should not waste youth age in just physical pleasures. Rather, this gift of youth age should be used in the best form. Of power each side, perfection everything. The youth age is full of power, and it's the time of perfection. It's the time of power of senses. Ears, eyes took in their dole. This it's fine if one enjoys with eyes and ears and spends one's youth age in enjoyment. Brain treasured up the whole. In youth age, brain, it just memorizes each and everything. Should not the heart beat once? He says, but with all these pleasures that one has experienced in youth age, we should always feel gratitude towards God and how good to live and learn. And one should appreciate that whatever experience God has bestowed upon us in youth age, we should be very, very thankful towards God. Now let's analyze these stanzas. Aspiration counts much more than achievement. So the whole thing is about what you desire to do in your life. That is more important than what you have achieved. If you have a goal, you should work hard to achieve it. The hard work matters more than failure or success. You may fail to do so, but that should only make you work more. So one should always learn from one's failures. Man's character is molded by failure. Success makes life easy and man complacent. So a person gets to learn more from failures rather than success, because success always makes life easy. Failure brings out the strength and courage of man and shows how he is when things are against him. So somewhere failures teach human beings a lot. They give strength and courage and to fight against all odds. Man is no better than an animal if his soul too is brutish and if he only tries to satisfy his physical cravings. So this is the thing that separates man from animals, because animals only have physical cravings and they just try to satisfy their hunger. Youth has its own uses. The experience man gains in his youth is stored up in the brain to be made use in old age. So youth is a time to know a lot of things and make those experiences store that can be used in old age. He can learn from experience and it helps him to come to a spiritual understanding of life and God and man. So as a person advances in years, all the experience that he had in his youth age and throughout his age advancement, he comes to a better and deeper understanding of the meaning of life and God and man. He understands that the whole of man's life is a part of God's plan and man should surrender to God and his plan. So one slowly realizes that whatever has happened in his life, it was all planning of God and he should have complete faith in God and one should surrender before God's plan. We'll continue with this poem in my next session. Thank you.